अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्। अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्। चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद स्वादन्नतृप्तं हरिभक्तसङ्घं। Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavata Prasad. There are 4 types of food. One which is chewed, one which is licked, one which is swallowed, one which is drunk. Okay. You lick, na? You give murabba, what will they do? They lick, na? No. Something you have to chew also. Something you can only drink only. Like water, you can drink. Some things are like you have to swallow. You have one type of jackfruit, you know that? You cannot bite it, you just have to swallow it. You cannot bite. There are 2 types of jackfruit. One which is chewed, one which is swallowed. So in this way, there are 4 types of food. And see Lord's arrangement. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. Krishna says, I am that fire. So actually what we do is we are not eating. We are providing the food to the fire. And when you provide the food to the fire, that is Agni. That is Yajna. In the Agni, when you put food, that is actually Yajna. That is why a devotee takes it as a personal responsibility to give that food to that Agni in a proper way. You cannot stand and throw something on the Agni. That is not Yajna. That is why Prasadam should be honored. We should sit and honor Prasadam, not stand and eat. You have to understand it very nicely. You cannot stand and eat Prasadam. You have to sit and honor Prasadam. Take the plate, honor properly, and then one has to pay obeisances, if possible, obeisances to the plate. If that is not possible, at least mentally pay obeisances to the prasadam given. Like today was, what was today? Very important day. Vasanta Panchami. Everything should be yellow. Even the bhoga should be yellow. Bhogas offered, dress, everything. Even the devotees should wear yellow. Today, yellow has a lot of significance. So, whatever you cook, you offer. That is 4 types. Even to Lord also, you should offer 4 types of food. Not that always be something hard. Something which Lord can lick. Something which Lord can drink. Something which Lord can chew. Something which Lord can swallow. Like that only prasadam is made. When you make the bhogas, you make all these things taking into consideration. What all you can make. So that is why the devotee should apply a lot of intelligence while making bhogas. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashita. See how Lord is so wonderful. He places himself as a fire in the stomach and burns the food. How are we going to digest? Prana Pana Samayukta. And then Krishna says, I join with the air of life, outgoing, incoming, to digest the 4 types of food. That is why when you go to doctor, the first thing he sees is your nadi. He sees why the disease is there, because of indigestion. And that indigestion is because of the pranavayu, apanavayu, imbalance in the pranavayu, apanavayu. An imbalance in pranavayu, apanavayu happens because of irregular timings of your taking prasad. Irregular food habits. And if you have proper food habits, then your prana, apanavayus are always normal. If you eat somewhere late and that too very heavy food, then you cannot have a proper digestion. That is why your motions are not proper. If your motions are not proper, naturally your gas is so much, your apanavayu has not gone. Unwanted air lies in your stomach. That's why gastric, all the diseases are because of the stomach. If you don't digest your food properly, and if you have really that understanding, yes, I am giving in the Agni, It should be simple food. Always try to take simple food at least at night. It should be very, very simple food at night, not very heavy food. Okay. Saura Prabhu read. Those who are told I'll be in listening mode, I am going to ask them only to read.
Hare Krishna
You
Mataji.
should know that. Yeah. You should know you're
Mataji,
in
what?
class. Yeah,
Yes, Mataji.
read.
What is the verse number, Mataji?
14, 15.14.
अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of food stuff. According to Ayurvedic Shastra, we understand that there is a fire in the stomach with which digests all food sent there. When the fire is not blazing, there is no hunger, and when the fire is in order, we become hungry. Sometimes, when the fire is not going nicely, treatment is required. In any case, this fire is representative of the supreme personality of Godhead. Vedic mantras, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, also confirm that the Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach and is digesting all kinds of food stuff. Ayam Agnir Vaishvanaro Yo Yam Antah Purushe Yenidam Annam Pachyate. Therefore, since he is helping the digestion of all kinds of food stuff, the living entity is not independent in the eating process. Unless the Supreme Lord helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. He thus produces and digests food stuff, and by his grace, we are enjoying life. In the Vedanta Sutra, this is also confirmed. Shabda Dibhyo Antah Pratishthanat.
Pratisthana.
Sure. The Lord is situated within sound and within the body, within the air, and even within the stomach as the digestive force. There are four kinds of food stuff. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked up, and some are sucked. And He is the digestive force for all of them.
So when you're drinking, you're using the throat, isn't it? When you're chewing, you use your teeth. You're using everything, but prominences. When you're licking, the tongue. When you're sucking, the lips. So whole mouth anyhow is employed, but in that prominence is given to tongue, your lips, your teeth, and your throat. You cannot say throat directly, it comes in the upper palate. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मतः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहरं च वेदेश सर्वे रहते वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत्वेदविदेव चाहम्. Memorize this verse. Sarvasya chaham hृदि सन्निविष्टो. I am situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hृदि सन्निविष्टो मतः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानम् अपोहरं च. I give forgetfulness and I give the memory. Mataha smritir jnanam apohanam. Smritir means memory. Jnanam means knowledge. Apohanam means forgetfulness. It could be forgotten. That the one with whom I am dealing was my killer in my previous life. I cannot deal with him, isn't it? So Krishna has given us forgetfulness. Oh, I was queen in the previous birth. What am I doing? I'm just in a small two-bedroom kitchen. I was living in a palace, if you remember that then. You cannot be comfortable in the place where you are. So apohanam, forgetfulness, is also given by Krishna. And then jnanam, knowledge, is given by Krishna. You see, within this lifetime itself, we have changed so many relations. We were enjoying one relation in one period. Slowly, we have forgotten that. Our mother's love, our father's love, their care. Who is giving that forgetfulness? It's Krishna. Or we cannot adjust with the next circumstances. So it is the environment which is going on changing. In our childhood, we were lying in our mother's lap, looking at her, sucking her breast. And then afterwards, when we grew big, holding her hands, crossing the street, kissing her, kissing parents. We forgot all those things. And then slowly, we adjusted with a new environment. And then again, we are forgetting that also. So Apohanam is also Krishna is only giving. Smritir, there are certain memories which are there. Will also Krishna gives. Jnanam, knowledge also Krishna gives. Krishna says through the Vedas, Vedescha Sarver Ahame Vedyaha. I have given these Vedas. Vedanta Krud Ved Videvachaham. I have given these Vedas. Through the Vedas, I am to be known, Krishna says. I am to be known through the Vedas. So Veda means knowledge. When Krishna breathes, knowledge emanates. When Krishna speaks, Bhagavad Gita emanates. When Krishna breathes, knowledge emanates. That knowledge contains all knowledge. The material knowledge, spiritual knowledge, everything is included in the Vedas. We see we have 4 parts in the Vedas. Brahmanakas, Aranyakas, Samhitas, and Upanishads that we have done in the introduction. Brahmanakas refer to the knowledge about how to live in city or villages. That means community living. So when you say community living, naturally, dharma, artha, kama, a lot of rituals has to be performed, sacrifices, sanskaras. And for that, artha is required, or also to gain artha also. And then the desires are fulfilled. So dharma. So Brahmanakas refers to that section, community living. And then comes Aranyakas, going to the forest, or trying to become a good brahmachari, learning the Vedas. Generally, Gurukuls are situated in a secluded place so that they will be taught samhitas. Samhitas are the Vedic way of chanting the mantras. Very important. It is a training process. Somebody told Mataji, you are into karma kand. I said, how come? You are teaching children Sanskrit. I said, do you think teaching Sanskrit is karma kand or what? Karma kand is not so easy to even understand. Performing rituals are not so easy. It's a training process right from the 5 years. It's a training process. And then there's a prarabdha. There's also a prarabdha. Everybody cannot become a brahmana. Even though a born brahmana also cannot chant the mantras and invoke. It's actually through the sanskaras, they invoke. Even if a demigod, they invoke the demigods. It's not so easy. We just have to learn Sanskrit because Sanskrit is our basic language. If we don't study Sanskrit, we cannot study our scriptures also. Then I had to explain to him how Sanskrit is very important. Just by studying Sanskrit, nobody becomes a Karmakanda Brahmana. So, Karmakanda Brahmanas are also having a lot of importance. In your marriage, whom you will call? You have to call a Pandit who knows how to perform. If a Pandit doesn't know, if he's not trained how to perform a Vivaha, I went to one Vivaha. They did not call a Brahmana. They called a devotee. A bichara, what devotee? No. Cheto darpanama janam bhava mahadava nirvapana. That is not a way. That is not the mantra for the Vivaha. Is it the mantra for the Vivaha? Bichara, I was sitting and chanting the first chapter Bhagavad. But that is not for the Vedic rituals. Because Vivaha is such a ceremony where you have to chant the mantras. Vedas have given the mantras. You cannot go against the Vedas, so don't get married. Be like Goswamis. When you got married, then when Vedas have been given by Lord, Vyasa has put in writing, who are we to say? We are Shuddha Bhaktas. Well, they are Shuddha Bhaktas. Don't get married. Go be under the sky. Be like Goswamis. Just to avoid sanskaras and degrade our culture on the name of Hare Krishna, don't degrade our culture. Because our culture has been given by Krishna. Krishna says, Ahamedya Vedyaha. Vedas have this karmakanda section is also there in the Vedas. Yes, for pure devotional service, attaining the pure love of Krishna, you don't need all this. But if you have to be in a grahastha life and in a proper way, sanskaras are required. A child is born, what will do? Even the child should be born. Nowadays, they go on dragging. After marriage, the first thing is the child should be born. Focus should be on having a child, because the child becomes the medium in the house to keep father and mother together. And the child also gets an opportunity to perform devotional service. How many marriage couples are having children? Yesterday, I went to somebody's house while coming from Pandharpur. My daughter wants to get married, but she says there should not be any child. I said, what is this nonsense? Then don't get your daughter married. So they say that we can keep the cats and dogs. I said, Acha, this is a doggish mentality. And just see what a degraded society. This is the degradation which is happening. And when before the child is born, after the vivaha, there is a sanskara, where the bija sanskara, that is most important, where the father and the mother are given the responsibility. So all these sanskaras are there. Then comes your, so many sanskaras. You go on naming, there is a sanskara. Without the sanskara, the human life is actually a big zero. Sanskaras are very, very important. Starts with the vivaha sanskara. Okay. So by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta. I am the knower of the Vedas. So through the sanskaras, whom to be known? Krishna to be known. Like in the Vivaha, it has been clearly said, your husband is Pati, becomes the Duta of Lord. Treat him as a messenger of Lord. Vishnu Duta, that is the word which is used for Pati. You serve him as good as you're serving Lord. This is all very, very important section actually. I can speak for hours and hours in this, but your Bhakti Shastri will remain. So, once Kamal Krishna Prabhuji gave a class, he was speaking on the illicit sex, not about the unmarried girls and boys, the married couples who stay together, but they don't beget children. This is another illicit sex. He gave a class for 1 hour, 2 hours. Very much important. We have to train the children. As soon as the marriage is there, they should have children. If you don't have children, then that is considered kama viruddha. It is a viruddha. Dharma, kama should not be viruddha. We have studied now in 10th chapter. Krishna says, I am that kama, which is not viruddha. Okay. I think we have to give more classes on this. Yesterday somebody was telling, Mataji, focus on this, because nowadays the trend is something else. The trend is keep cats and dogs in the house. Who will take the responsibility of the children? Now just see. But they want marriage also. Then divorce. Jai Shri Dev.
Hare Krishna. Sarvaswasachaham hridi sannivishto matta smriti jnanamapohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Translation: I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Purport: the Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart, and it is from him that all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Required knowledge is applied to him, and remembrance is given to him, and he forgets also about his past life. Thus, the Lord is not only all-pervading, he is also localized in every individual heart. He awards the different fruitive results. He is worshipable not only as the impersonal Brahman, the supreme personality of Godhead, and the localized Paramatma, but as the form of the incarnation of the Vedas as well. The Vedas gives the right direction to the people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, and Krishna in his incarnation as Vyasadeva is the compiler of Vedanta Sutra. The commentation on the Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva in the Srimad Bhagavatam gives the real understanding of Vedanta Sutra. The Supreme Lord is so full that for the deliverance of the conditioned soul, he is the supplier and digester of foodstuff and witness of activity and the giver of knowledge in the form of Vedas, and as the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita. He is worshipable by the conditioned soul. Thus, God is all good, God is all merciful. Andapravishya Shasta Jananam. The living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body, but he begins his work again initiated by the Supreme Lord. Although he forgets, the Lord gives him the intelligence to renew his work where he ended his last life. So not only does living entity enjoy or suffer in this world according to the dictation from the Supreme Lord, situated locally in the heart, but he receives the opportunity to understand the Vedas from him. If one is serious about understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the required intelligence. Why does he present the Vedic knowledge for understanding? Because a living entity individually needs to understand Krishna. Vedic literature confirms this. Yo Sayu Sarevar Vedir Giyade. In all Vedic literature, beginning from the four Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, and the Upanishad and Puranas, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated by performances of Vedic rituals, discussion of Vedic philosophy, and the worship of Lord in the devotional service. He is attained. Therefore, the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. The Vedas gives us direction by which to understand Krishna and the process of realizing him. The ultimate goal is the supreme personality of Godhead. Vedanta Sutra 1.114 confirms this in the following words. Tattu Samyaveda. One can attain perfection in 3 stages. By understanding Vedic literature, one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By performing the different process, one can approach him. And at the end, one can attain the supreme goal, who is no other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, the purpose page is page overlap.
The purpose of the Vedas, understanding of the Vedas, the goal of Vedas are clearly defined.
Defined, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the 2 classes of jivas that has been given here. Dvavimo purushau loke sharaksha shara eva cha shara sarvani bhutani bhutasto shara uchyate. Dvavimo purushau loke, 2 types of living entities. Sharaksha, mute your phone, Jaishree. Sharaksha shara eva cha, there are shara jivas, akshara jivas. Shara means one who is fallible. That means one whose consciousness is in matter. Akshara jiva, one whose consciousness is always divine. One whose consciousness is always in serving Lord. So, it doesn't mean that Akshara jivas don't come in this world. They are only the acharyas who have come. Krishna can send Akshara jivas anywhere to reclaim the conditioned souls. Conditioned souls come in the category of Sharajiva. Akshar Jivas are our, our acharyas who have come to guide us. Just imagine if Prabhupada would not have been there, if Sripad Madhvacharya would not have been there, Ramanuja would have not been there, what would have done? They have come to reclaim us. Their birth is Akarana Bartha, Akarana Jarma. Akarana means there is no material cause for the birth. That is why they have come. Kshara Sarvani Bhutani. Kshara, these fallible living entities, Utasto Uchate. In the material world, you will find the fallible living entity. In the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. Okay. So in the material world, so it doesn't mean that when the acharyas come, they are in the material world. They are always in the spiritual world only. They are in deputation. Like the governor visits the jail. He is not one among the prisoners. They come to visit. The same way the acharyas come, they are all Ksharajivas, infallible. But fallibles are the living entities who are conditioned in birth, old age, death, and disease. Okay. Pushpari.
Hare Krishna. Dva imau purushau loke ksharascha eva cha
Sharakshakshara. Sharakshakshara. Cha is there.
Sharasachara.
Ksha is not sh. Sharakshakshara.
Ksharascha eva cha kshara sarvani bhutani Utastho uchyate. There are two classes of beings.
Kutastho nahi, kutastho. Dirgha rasva, everything. Kutastho kshara uchyate.
Kshara uchyate. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. As already explained, the Lord in his incarnation as Vyasadeva compiled the Vedanta Sutra. Here the Lord is giving in summary the contents of the Vedanta Sutra. He says that the living entities who are innumerable can be divided into two classes, the fallible and the infallible. The living entities are eternally separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta. And the Sanskrit words given here, Shara Sarvani Bhutani, mean that they are fallible. Those who are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, are called infallible. Oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but there is no disunity. They are all agreeable to the purpose of the creation. Of course, in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as creation. But since the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is the source of all emanations, that conception is explained. According to the statement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, there are two classes of living entities. The Vedas give evidence of this, so there is no doubt about it. The living entities who are struggling in this world with the mind and five senses have their material bodies which are changing. As long as a living entity is conditioned, his body changes due to contact with matter. Matter is changing. So the living entity appears to be changing. But in the spiritual world, the body is not made of matter. Therefore, there is no change. In the material world, the living entity undergoes 6 changes: birth, growth, duration, reproduction, then dwindling and vanishing. These are the changes of the material body. But in the spiritual world, the body does not change. There is no old age. There is no birth. There is no death. There all exists in oneness. Shara Sarvani Bhutani. Any living entity who has come in contact with matter, beginning from the first created being Brahma, down to a small ant, is changing its body. Therefore, they are all fallible. In the spiritual world, however, they are always liberated in oneness. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Next verse. Tamaha purushastvanyah paramatmetyudhartah yo lokatramavishya vibhartyavyaha ishwarah. Uttamaha purushastvanyah. Uttamaha purushastvanyah paramatmetyudhartah यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यः ईश्वरः. Very technical words. Yeah. Not to chant really nice. Nice twisting of the tongue is there in this verse. Uttamaha purushastvanyah. So beyond these two, anya means beyond these two, there is one uttama shloka. Uttama purushaha. Who is the Paramatma? Paramatmeti udharutah. Paramatmeti udharutah. Udharutah, the pursuit is said, is Paramatma, who is residing in the heart. Yo lokatrayam avishya. Lokatrayam. So Lord enters the three words, trayam, lokatrayam. Avishya means enters. Why? Bibharti avyaya ishvara. Is avyaya ishvara, inexhaustible Lord, avyaya, one who never falls down from his position. He enters the three worlds. He enters everyone's heart. He is Paramatma for the whole universe as Garbhadakshayi Vishnu. He is Paramatma for individual body as Shiradakshayi Vishnu. So in this way, Lord enters to maintain them. Why should Lord come? To maintain. Without Vishnu, nobody can maintain. Even Lord Shiva cannot maintain. Brahma also cannot maintain. It's only Vishnu can maintain. Why Vishnu? Vishati iti sarvatraha Vishnu. One who cannot be stopped from entering anywhere and everywhere is Vishnu. No one else can penetrate others' heart. Even Lord Shiva cannot enter your heart. But it is only Vishnu who can enter. Brahmaji also cannot enter. He can only create. But entering, who can enter, they only can maintain. That is why Narayana can enter. Because his entering is Vishnu. To understand the meaning. And Narayana, why? Because all the Naras are Ayanaha. They're sleeping in his stomach. That is why Narayana. They are taken his shelter. Ayanaha means taking the shelter. Naras take the shelter of Lord. That is why Lord is known as Narayana. The Jivas take shelter of Lord. That is why he is known as Narayana. He enters in everyone's heart. He can enter anywhere and everywhere. As Jada Brahman, he can enter anywhere. In Jada Vastu, Lord is present everywhere. So that is why he is entering to maintain. As Karanadakshayi Vishnu, he is Paramatma for everything. Because he is only the one who has glanced over the Mahat Tattva, penetrated in Mahat Tattva, the Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti. That is how he becomes the Paramatma for the whole Brahmandas, and then when a lot of creation happens, he becomes the Paramatma Kshidrakshayi. Okay. Palash Mataji, oh, wait. Twist of tongue is there. Geeta Mataji, you read.
Hare Krishna. Uttamah purushastvanyah paramatmetyudahritah yo lokatrayamavishya vibhartyavyaya ishwarah.
Very nice.
translation.
everybody now should understand how to nicely chant the words. Practice at home very nicely.
Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. Purport. The idea of this verse is very nicely expressed in the Katha Upanishad 2.2.13 and Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.13. It is clearly stated there that above the innumerable living entities, some of whom are conditioned and some of whom are liberated, there is the Supreme Personality who is Paramatma. The Upanishadic verse runs as follows. Nityo Nityanam Chedanas Chedananam. The purport is that amongst all the living entities, both conditioned and liberated, there is one supreme living personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who maintains them and gives them all the facility of enjoyment according to different work. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. A wise man who can understand him is eligible to attain perfect peace, not others. Hare Krishna.
Yasmat Sharami Yasmaksharamatitoham Aksharadapi Chottamaha. Atosmi loke vede cha pratitah purushottamah yasmaksharamatitoham अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः यस्मात् because यस्मात् क्षरम् अतीतः अहम् I am transcendental to the fallible मिहि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः I am the Purusha Uttama, I am the Supreme, I am the best Uttamaha, I am the best and the greatest and the best. That is why Vedic literatures, Vede, therefore, Ataha, therefore, Vedic literatures celebrate, Pratitaha, celebrate, or I am celebrated in the Vedic literatures as the Supreme Personality. Why is Purna Purushottam Bhagavan? Why he is Purushottamaha is supreme? Because he is transcendental to Kshara and Akshara, both. And also he is Uttamaha. Uttama. Uttama means one who is greatest. Okay. Saurabh, read. Read. 18th verse.
I've already read, Matsu.
You have read?
Yes, Matsu.
Mayur read. Mayur Prabhu. You read. Aruna is also left. Next one.
Yes. Yasmat aksharam atitoham aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratitah purushottamah. Meaning, because I
Very
am
nice, Rina,
transcendental.
Prabhu. Read.
Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Purport. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of personalities. Now it is clear here that the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are individuals. The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, cannot surpass the quantity in inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being as the same level on the same level or equal in all respects. There is always a question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities. The word Uttama is very significant. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Lokesh signifies in the Purusha Agama, the Smriti scriptures, as confirmed in the Nirukti dictionary. Lokyate Vedarho Nena. The purpose of the Vedas is explained by the Smriti scriptures. The Supreme Lord, in his localized aspect of Paramatma, is also described in the Vedas themselves. The following verse appears in the Vedas. Chandra Yoga Upanishad 8.12.3. Tvad Esha
तावदेशः
Samprasado
सम्प्रसादोऽस्मात् शरीरात् समुत्थाय परं ज्योतिरूपं समत्यः सम्पद्यः स्वेन रूपेणाभिनिष्पद्यते स उत्तमः पुरुषः. Read the meaning.
The super soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Then, in his form, he remains in his spiritual identity. That supreme is called the Supreme Personality. This means that the Supreme Personality is exhibiting and diffusing his spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. The Supreme Personality, who has a localized aspect as Paramatma, by incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara, he explained the Vedic knowledge as Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna.
यो माम् एवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत. यो माम् एवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत. Who can engage in devotional service very nicely? The answer is Yo Mam Evam Asammudho. Without any doubt. If somebody has a doubt, he can never progress in devotional service. Never have a doubt in devotional service. Samshayatma vinashyati. Krishna clearly says here also, see, asammudho. Without a doubt. Purusha Uttamaha. There should not be a tinge of doubt in the supremacy of Lord. Sa Sarvavid, then he can know everything. Bhajati, this word bhajati. Bhajati means bhaja. This word of bhaja refers to service. Bhajan is not just singing. Bhajan means service. The more we serve, the more we can progress in devotional service. So Sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bhavat. In this way, Krishna says, when he renders devotional service unto me, he can progress in all respects. Sarva bhavena bharat. So without a doubt, if somebody knows Lord and he serves Lord very nicely, then he knows everything. And in this way, he can progress in devotional service. Okay. Aruna, read.
Hare Krishna.
So if you have seen, now what we do is we are doing Anvaya of every word. Just don't directly go to the translation. You should do the Anvaya. Yo, Mam. When you do this Anvaya as a Bhakti Shastri student, then you can go on giving a class. Suppose you are told to give a class on this verse. Immediately, once you read the purport, after that you have every word on which you can give a class. Mam refers to me. That means Lord is a person. Immediately you can speak about the qualities of Lord and how the qualities are there in a person. That is why Krishna is a person. And then asammudho, without a doubt. When Krishna says no doubt, immediately you can go to that verse where Krishna says samshayatma vinashyati. Purusha uttamaha. Purushaha is a person. He is an enjoyer. You can give hours class on one verse. That is why Sanskrit words are very important to know. If you know that word, then when you are studying also, just don't study for the sake of studying. Study with deeper understanding. Study and explain to yourself only. When you start explaining to yourself, it is very easy to explain to others. First, practice explaining to oneself. Okay. Read.
Hare Krishna. Yo mamev sammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharat. Purport. There are many philosophical speculation about the constitutional position of living entities and supreme absolute truth. Now, in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. And still there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the supreme absolute truth and the living entities to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, the learning by or oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here, Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Simply to hear like the hogs is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this, according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, knows the purpose of the Vedas, and no one else knows the purpose of the Vedas. The word bhajanti is very significant. In many places, the word bhajanti is expressed in relationship with the service of Supreme Lord, service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in the devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishvanara Parampara, in Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth. He has already come to the point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary processes of understanding. But if anyone, after speculating for hundreds of thousands lives, does not come to the point of Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that one has to surrender there. All his speculation for so many years and lives is a useless waste of time. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So many years he has been speculating. That is a useless waste of time. And speculation on what? Whether Lord is a person or impersonal. So in this speculation, he has just wasted his time. And very clearly here Prabhupada says, bhajati, this word refers to service. The sweet dealings between the devotee with Lord. That is known as bhajan. Okay. Last verse. Iti bhuyyatamam shastram idamuktam maya naga etad buddhva buddhimanas. Wait. Iti etad buddhva buddhiman syat कृतकृत्यश्च भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तम् मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत इति thus guhyatamam. I have given the topmost secret. And what is the topmost secret in this? Understanding there are two types of jivas, Sharakshara, and Krishna is beyond them. And then again, what is the Guhyatamam Jnanam? Krishna is present in everyone's heart. He gives Matasrutir Jnanam Apohanam. Krishna has to be learned through the Vedas. And Bhajate Mam, without bhajan, without service, one cannot go to that position of bhakti. Yumami sammulo janati purushottamam sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. So it's only because of bhakti. So Krishna says, I have given the topmost secret. Idam uttam, I have disclosed this. Maya, by me. To whom? To Annaka, to you. You are sinners. Etat buddhva buddhiman. So an intelligent person understands this. Syat. Or when a person understands this, he becomes intelligent. Krutaha putyaha, he becomes perfect in his endeavor. His endeavors will know perfection. Krutaha putyaha cha bharata. In this way, his endeavors will know perfection when he understands this. Then he becomes intelligent. So this chapter, which speaks about the position of the material world, how is this material world, how a person is stuck in this material world, and then the jivas, the position of the jivas. Krishna says, Mamaivansho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. All these verses are in this verse only, in this chapter only. Krishna says, they are my part and parcel. I am present in everyone's body as Vaishvanar Agni. All these things, if you see, then how the living entity quits from one body to another body, what it carries with it. It is the previous life impressions which is carried. That is how one should come out of this so-called attachments. These attachments are carried within the heart. And then it's carried within the consciousness. Man buddhi ahankar never dies. The gross body seems to be dead, but the subtle body is always living. This attachment should be only for Krishna. Okay, in this way, the whole chapter, if you see, Krishna has given the topmost jnanam. Okay. Who will read? Aruna has read. Hala,
I'll
she
read.
read.
Mataji.
Yeah, read. Read it slowly, every word properly.
Iti guhyatam shastram
Tam is
idyam
there, tamam is there.
tamam. Iti
Read, you
guhyatamam
take you
shastram.
take a pause. You take a pause. Read iti.
Iti
Then see the word guhyatamam. Don't
guhyatamam.
read.
Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam maya nadha. Itad.
What? You see up
It-
also, you see down
it-
also. What
it
is there in
da.
Hindi?
It-
There is
it-
what?
Etda.
Just- Oh, one minute. You see Balram font, you see Devanagari font. In English, what you see, and in Hindi, what you see.
Etda etad buddhavah buddhimana
Etad buddhva buddhiman syad.
sasyat. Etad buddhava buddhimana sasyat.
What? Etad buddhva buddhiman syad.
Buddhiman syat.
Kritakrtyascha.
Krityascha bharatah.
Bharataha is there. What? Bharata.
Bharat.
You know one thing, before the class, I gave this technique to Aruna Upadhyay. Now she is doing properly. You chant these verses, do the preparation, 4 verses and 4 or 5 verses. Go on reading, go on at least 10 times. I will read in the Devanagari, it is E-T. In English, you say I-T-I, iti. Write it down. For
Iti.
you, it is not just reading, you have to write. Iti, in Hindi you write. Then you write in English, iti. Next is what? Guiye tamam. Write in Hindi. Everybody has lost the touch of writing. So guiye tamam. Write in English. How will write this? Guiye tamam. That is how you are going to learn. Shastram. Write it down. Then in English, how it is written, one dash is put. So that you should say Shastram. Now your writing practice now. And then read in the Chanda. Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam maya nagha etad buddha buddhiman syat kuta kutyascha bharata. Okay, read.
This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Purport. The Lord clearly explains here that this is the substance of all revealed scriptures, and one should understand this as it is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding his philosophy of Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in his transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is a process of spiritual understanding. Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord Himself are one and the same because they are spiritual. Devotional service takes place within the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is said to be the sun, and the ignorance is called darkness. Where the sun is present, there is no question about darkness. Therefore, whenever devotional service is present under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to this position of understanding Krishna and engages in the devotional service, however intelligent he may be in the estimation of some common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. The word anagaha, by which Arjuna is addressed, is significant. Anagaha, O sinless one, means that unless one is free from all the sinful reactions, is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contaminations, all sinful activities. Then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. While one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing, one has to surmount his weakness of the heart. The first downfall is caused by the desire to Lord is over material nature. Thus, one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that one increases the prosperity to Lord in over material nature. He may become attached to master and the possession of matter. The problem of material existence are due to the weaknesses of the heart. In this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from these weaknesses of the heart, and the rest of the chapter, from the 6th verse through the end, discusses Purushottama Yoga. Thus, the end of Bhakti Vedanta purport to the 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam Gita in the matter of Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Hare Krishna.
So we have completed this third section of Bhagavad Gita. Any doubts you can ask? Study your examination. I kept on 25th, 26th. When was exam? 25,
24th,
26.
25th.
Okay, that will be as it is.
24, 25.
Friday onwards, we'll start with the 16th chapter. Okay, another 1 or 2 months, we can finish the whole thing. So
All
any
four
doubts?
Mataji.
What?
We'll finish Bhagavad Gita or all the books.
Why you want to hurry or what?
No.
Okay, Bhagavad Gita. First Bhagavad
Acha.
Gita. I am not
Okay.
hurrying. Once I took in 1 month the whole book, I can hurry and take for you all also, but that is not going to give any sense. You should know how to read, you should know how to do Sandhi Vigraha, you should know you do Anvaya, make sentences. How to finish what? In 3 months also you can finish this course. Okay. Stop here. Pass into the